let's just go juicy.
Can be guaranteed there will be some, you would have picked the spicy ones. I have waited my whole life to be a mum, making myself voiceless again when all I really want to do is just publicly say, fuck you. Like new levels, new devils.
Because I'm just like, how do I reword that question?
It's always my mind. I'll clean that up first and foremost, because if you want to up level, you've got to make sure that you're an energetic match. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Anything Goes with Anna Rose, but it's different. It is done different this time. It feels different. It obviously looks different, but I have the formidable, phenomenal rat bag of a best friend next to me. We're going to see how this goes. Caitlin,
If I'm not an absolute distraction.
No. We are professionals in another lifetime. But we are here today with the vision of what you wanted to bring to life alongside me. You have become a treasured and very important part of my entire team. And you were the one that had this idea. So you were like, we're recording podcasts. It's going on the YouTube. We are
on the YouTube.
On
the tube of the U.
Yeah, it's happening. We have little Zeusy at our feet, by the way, sponsored by Tour Collective Socks. But it was your vision, and I loved it because you had this whole vision of bringing like everyone the bestie experience, like the way that you get me, and you're bringing it to life. And I feel like it's already happening in a big way. But Katy is here to interview me today. That's how we thought we would kick off the very first episode back. So I had put a box up on Instagram a couple of days ago and said, anyone can ask me questions. And we got some incredible ones. I always love you all because you all definitely know that nothing is off out of bounds, essentially. And it really isn't. So I want to say there was a lot of kid questions.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely going to say this. And it can offend some women, which I completely understand because did you have any of those in there?
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay. Because a lot of women will say, like, you know, you don't know that I'm having troubles or anything. I'm not. But I was thinking about that and I'm like, I can't say nothing's off the table and then get offended by an enormous amount of questions around kids. So I actually don't know the questions Katy has chosen. This is a true story. I know the questions, but I don't know the ones she's chosen. Yeah. So
you wanted a non-biased, a non-biased question feed.
Yeah.
And yeah, there are a lot of questions and a lot of them are all sort of asking the same thing in the same sort of way. But just staying true to me.
Yeah, of course. I expect nothing less.
I was like, fuck, let's just go juicy.
Yeah, of course.
Let's get the goods. So
you can be guaranteed there will be some, you would have picked the spicy ones.
In all of the categories.
Perfect.
So I don't really know where to start because they're all a little bit different and they all just fucking go straight in. So I hope you're ready.
Baby, I was born ready.
Born ready.
All right, let's do it, sis.
All right. So my first question, let's just go straight to the kids because I feel like
we started there.
Let's just start there. So the question that came through is here somewhere. Where did it go?
You're like,
do you ever plan on having children? We need Anna to live on in the next generation.
The answer is yes.
And ain't that the truth?
Ain't that the truth?
If there ain't little mini Annas, stir in the fucking pot.
Put it in the bin.
In the 2100s.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I absolutely yes. The shortest, quickest answer of that is yes. Ryan and I absolutely plan on having kids. He obviously has 3 kids of his own who are grown adults. So he has an almost 21-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 17-year-old, almost 18. So yes, we plan on culminating our love and bringing our own babies into the world, which I'm very excited. When, I will never say, but you will know because I will obviously announce it when I'm pregnant. So who knows?
I know.
Yeah, Katy knows. Actually, I will say that. I will absolutely talk about that. Like, obviously, of course, the besties know. We're all actually like planning them together. So we definitely know. But
no one is allowed to go rogue.
Yeah, this is like we have like promised each other
Don't go rogue.
Like, don't just start trying and not tell the other. But we have our dates. We know when we all want to start trying together again. And I love that. So a couple of things, like the big thing for me is I have waited my whole life to be a mum. Obviously, I'd been married before for 16 years or together with my ex-husband for 16 years. But it was just never it. And it was something that I had made a really conscious decision around not having babies with him. We'd always talked about it, but I had just kept saying, maybe next year, just knowing, when your body always knows, So I get so excited about this question. And I get so excited. Like, I'm clucky. We are clucky.
We are clucky.
We are clucky.
We want babies.
So we're waiting. And I get excited because it's such a conscious decision I've made. I've waited my whole life. And yes, you guys, there will be little Ryan and Anna babies, Anna and Ryan babies.
Yeah. Do you feel like, well, I know this, but just to share, like, what do you feel? Actually, someone asked in here, I didn't highlight it as one of my questions, but they were like, I think they asked, like, what would you say to your baby? Like your baby that's up there in the stars right now, but then like in your intuition, in your womb, like, is it a boy? Is it a girl?
Oh, do we want to go? Yeah.
Well, we can. Like, it wasn't in the questions, but like, let's go.
Okay, bestie privileges. I definitely have felt her for a very long time. I do think we will have one of both. I definitely have felt them both. I have actually also been told by 3 separate psychics that I have had twins in every lifetime. And this lifetime, they have this soul contract themselves. I've literally been told this by 3 separate psychics, that they have a soul contract with me in this lifetime, that it's really my choice if they want to come through as twins. And I actually, like, I've written them letters. This is years ago. And actually re-put it back on them and was like, I'm a delegator, guys.
In other words, just don't tell me what to do because I'm just going to tell you back what to do anyway.
Correct. So I actually, no, truly though, because I was like, I actually, like, it's so fine if they want to come through as twins again. But if they do want their own individual little identities this lifetime, I'm going to love them unconditionally regardless. So I thought, if they're up there and they do want to come through as twins, I actually have a whole theory that I will share at a later date. I will not go there now, but like, I don't want to give it all away, but I do have a theory around the babies. But what I would say to them is what I'm already saying to them, that, it's up to them now. Eventually, we're not trying. Like, I can absolutely say we are not currently trying, but that they love.
AKA, I'm just patiently waiting to hit go.
Yeah, she's like, so yeah, that is the truth. That is 100% the truth. But I would just tell them that what they already know, that they are loved, that we're ready, and that it's safe. Yeah. All the things that I was a wound in this lifetime with generational trauma I had to heal, right? Because my great-grandmother, mother had that wound. And that was the wound that then was projected ultimately onto me, which is I am unlovable and I am unsafe. So the babies know that they are loved, they are lovable, and they are safe to come through into my womb and into the world.
And like, I know that from having my babies, I was definitely not trying to fall pregnant with my second. And it was with Flaubert, like, I fell pregnant with her when my first baby was only 9 months old. Mm-hmm. So a beautiful surprise. But now that she's here and she is the phenomenal tornado that she is, our little FOMO flow, like, when you see them and you're just like, your timing was perfect. Yeah. Like, they choose. They 100% choose. And then when you get to see them, you can just be like, okay.
Yeah.
And you knew. That's why your first is your first, because they're the one that transitions you from maiden to mother. And then that second one shows you all those other lessons of whatever that may be.
I reckon this is actually a fun time and date stamp. And let's see, but I have so I will time dates. This wasn't my theory. There's like more theories around this, but I will say my theory around what I think. I think she's coming first, he will be second, but it's a 50-50 chance. So we want to. And then I have this energy with them that I think she which is wild because I'm a wild child, but I think she will be like my peace. Like she will just be this like peaceful soul that brings ultimate peace to my life. And I think he will be like a little wild child warrior. I have this thing about
Stay wild, baby.
Stay wild, baby. So I think, yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to look back on and be like, oh my God, how wrong I was.
And have you seen those things too, where it talks about a mother will have a daughter so that she has a best friend for life, and a mother will have a son to learn what true love really is.
Oh,
Have you seen those before? Your algorithm's not motherhood yet.
oh yeah. It's a lot of babies. I said to Katy that I am this level of clucky. I love that, like, this is how long we've talked about this question, but I said that my algorithm is on me because I got, like, a video popped up and it was just like a couple bringing their baby girl home for the first time. I was telling you yesterday. And I was like crying my eyes out and sent Ryan. I'm like, I am this level of clucky, like, and my snotty crying face, like sobbing for this couple I don't know with a child that is not my, like, I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so to answer the question, you guys, that everyone that asked, yes, there will be little babies in the future.
The world will have
its legacy.
More generations of Anna Rose. I feel like we're just gonna actually, I'm not gonna go too deep yet. We'll go here first.
Okay.
For someone who is wanting to up-level their finances as a woman, what's your first piece of advice?
Oh, I coach this, like, I have a whole 5-step principle in self-love school in Earn Like You Love Yourself. Number one, I always say you have to pay down debt. Like, a big thing for me as a woman, and I'm obviously speaking to the woman that asked that question, right? And the woman that wants to earn more. I know there's like this whole culture at the moment of women that like want to be homestead bakers, and I think that's beautiful, and solely rely on the man. Phenomenal if that's your energy and vibe, sis. It ain't mine. So I'm speaking to that woman. So a big thing for me is it's always around earning more fucking money, right? So if you wanted to start again, what was the exact question? Was it like for starting again?
For someone who is wanting to up-level their finances as a woman, what's your first piece of advice?
The first thing I always say when it comes to up-leveling your financial situation, and it's like the first thing I teach, is your mindset. Actually, it's all around your money mindset. So every, like, new levels, new devils is what I always say. So whenever I'm trying to call it, like, up level my own life in money, like money in any way, hold it, magnetize it, hold it, and then multiply it, I always will go to my mindset first. So your bank is your brain. Like, your bank, the greatest bank on earth is your brain. So first of all, I would read new books on money. Have I got any here? Nah. I mean, Rachel Rogers' We Should All Be Millionaires is on there. I mean, perfect. But yeah, it's always my mindset. So if I'm trying to up level, that's like more high end question, which I love. It's actually my mindset. So I look at where I'm potentially blocking money energy coming to me. I look at my belief system around it. I look at my income. I look at my expenses. I don't carry debt. But that would be step 2. So the biggest thing I always say, if you're trying to up level, but you still have bad debt in your life, so credit cards, car loans, whatever else, pay that down to then save more money, to then invest more money, to then earn more money. But yeah, brain is your bank. And so mindset is, like, honestly number 1. Find some books, listen to some podcasts, watch the YouTube. I'm always going to say that now. Watch free. Just like a great one that I love was Scott Pape in the beginning for me. The Barefoot Investor, he was incredible. But yeah, so it's always my mind. I'll clean that up first and foremost, because if you want to up level, you've got to make sure that you're an energetic match for whatever you're actually trying to call in. So I know the level that I'm trying to play at now, and it's going to be a progressive journey. But like for Talk Collective, I've talked about this before, but Jason from LSKD, he's about to hit $100 million in revenue this year. Now, I think his profit margins in the fashion industry max sit at around 20%. That's still $20 million in profit. Yeah. So when we're talking at that level, like that's a different ball game. So for me, I'm just like, who do I need to become in the process to grow the companies to that level? How clean and energetic match do I need to be? What do I need to clean up to vibrate at that level ultimately? And then look at where I'm being frivolous with money, reckless with money. I never have debt, so like but if you want to up level, but you're like still putting things on credit card and not paying it off straight away, stop that. I'm not anti-debt, but I'm anti-bad debt. Yeah.
The Barefoot Investor was great. I really love that too. And I actually just recently heard that they revise and rewrite and update it so that all of the information in that book is relevant. So that if, like, for me, I would have read it almost 6 years ago, 6 years ago or something like that. So like, but times,
The table's moving, everyone.
but times change, things have changed and stuff. So to know that, and I'll just add, like, we'll speak into what you just said too. Like, it's that energetic force of money as well. And if money doesn't feel safe in your hands, you're not going to be able to magnetize it. And so you won't be able to go into those next levels. So stop being reckless. Be really mindful with how you're doing things. If you want more money and you're going to try and play bigger, play harder, then also be smarter and safer so that money knows that it's safe to come to you.
Yeah. And like when I talk mindset as well, I love that. And that's just inspired another thought. I'm talking mindset to the point of, do you scroll and see a woman succeeding, or, do you hear a brand crushing it and think, yeah, well, like lucky for them, or fuck her, or like, ugh, in another lifetime, like at that molecular level. Because my mindset, you always say this about me, you're like, you're so like you already know the words that are coming out of your mouth. When I heard about Jason, and I talk about him to like, I'm in that industry now, but I'm like, what a fucking legend. This dude, an Aussie guy, has crushed it in the activewear industry, essentially. But I cheer them on. Like, and so money knows, oh, she's a safe vessel to be magnetized to. She's a safe vessel for like to spread that wealth from cheering other people on or holding it myself. So that's the level. If you want to up level, like check in. And if your girlfriends are doing better, but you've got that like pang where it's like, oh, like what a bitch, I want that. It's like you got to clean that up. That's the energetic match.
Making those excuses, oh well, they have that because this, like whatever those stories are, like, yeah, cut the stories. 222, I love you.
222, I love you.
Are we ready to move on?
Yes.
I think we're going to start going a little bit deep now. I'm going to start here because this has been a big topic that we've spoken about for the last 30 something hours.
Okay. Oh.
Are you still planning to prosecute those terrible trolls and the ex? If anyone can do it, it's you.
Yes. The answer is absolutely. But I'm in this, and they'll be listening to this, which I
Strap
love.
in, bitches.
Which I love, because you don't get to be a fucking evil asshole that has stalked, bullied, and harassed anyone for 3 to 4 years and like think you're anonymous. This is like a two-part question. It's like the ex, which I'll put over here for a second, and then them. But absolutely. But I'm speaking to a lawyer around, because there's been incredible investigators which took not long, but identifying who they are. So please just always know, by the way, if you think you're anonymous on the internet, you're not. And this goes for even my beloved followers. Like, if you ever think like you can set up an account, and even with like an IP address that bounces or whatever, like IP blocking that, you are never fucking anonymous. So like, be very careful on the internet. Katie's like, your face gives me life. I was just showing her photos of some of these women, like,
We know who you are.
and she was like, oh, but I'm at a point now with so speaking to lawyers more and more and making a decision on what I want to do. So basically it's a defamation case. So I can go for defamation ultimately. But if I go defamation, it gets tied up in court, it's a big possibility. So it's that. So go defamation and go them ultimately privately, because when a trial is in process, which I had to also learn with my ex, which we can talk about, you can't say anything. You can't talk about it. You get yourself ultimately in trouble. So if I do that, I feel like I'm making myself voiceless again, when all I really want to do is just publicly say fuck you and make them an enormous example in Australia. So it's ultimately either going to be the defamation case. I've got like two roads to go down, or publicly just name and shame them, go to the media and make it a story as it deserves to be. And that's going to put everything that they said and everything that they've done to me, which is still like in the shadows, in the public. But I don't give a fuck. Like, say what you want to say, do what you want to do, which they've already done for 4 years. So that's to answer that question. Yes, I absolutely am. And that's just a warning for like people that honestly think they're anonymous on the internet. You're not. Like, you're absolutely not. And then with the ex, so that's still a process that you even know. Like, I was on your bed crying about it yesterday. It's just a process. Like, until I genuinely feel physically safe, which I don't know that I ever will, until, I mean, I'm sure that I can and I will. I'm undecided, because when you are dealing with a narcissistic, violent man, and this is why I'm going to have someone on the podcast and the expert, and I'll talk about my story when I feel like, not when I feel like, when I feel like the expert can offer advice on the spot to someone still in the situation, which I have women stop me on the street and disclose information. And then I help, have to help set up safe plans for them. So I know with my platform and my podcast, if I start to tell my story and I'm a lucky survivor, I just don't want a woman to then try and do what I did and it fail and she die, because I could have very well died that night. So, and I honestly thought I was going to, because he just disappeared, like a demon took over. So it's just different with him in the sense that if I then start to prosecute and pursue the criminal charges, of which the cop at the time, you were in the station, said there's like several independent criminal charges that I could take against him, I'm antagonizing a narcissistic, violent man. And what happened yesterday was I read the story about a girl in Australia, another one, who walked outside of her gym, and her ex was waiting for her, and he stabbed her in the neck and the heart and the back or something. But 3 stab wounds to try and kill her, and she's blessedly alive. But I was sobbing on the bed to you, and I was like, this is a genuine fear that I live with daily. Like, so, and criminally, yes, he could then go to jail. But right now, our court systems are fucked. And so most perpetrators could get 5 months potentially, but be let out after 3 on good behavior in prison. And then he's back out on the street, and I've pissed him off. I've fucking put a criminal. So yeah, it is so multifaceted, but it's such a good question. I'm glad you picked that one, because people have to understand the depth of DV and how so multifaceted and layered it is. And it's not, so when other women who sit back on the couch and go, I would never be in that, or, which I understand, or why doesn't she just press charges? Oh, because it's like, fuck, you think about your life every single day. And do you want to, like, do I then also want to sit in court and face him on day after day after day at trial? No.
Yeah, no one's going in there on your behalf to fight all of those fights for you. So
Yeah.
you're constantly living in it
Yeah.
all of the time, when you're still moving through it, but you have this beautiful life
Yeah.
that is worth celebrating
Yeah.
and worth living in the present, and living that, like, to not miss the point of life, and to sit in those environments. Maybe that's the decision you choose to make, and you'll be supported undeniably if that's the road that you go down. But ultimately, you have to be the one that's like, this is my fight, and
Yeah.
this is the hill I'm going to die on, and I am not backing down, and this is my decision.
And on that, which I love, yes, thank you, bestie, is what's sprung up from that is, it is my fight, but I've kind of taken that on board as like, it's my fight nationally. So even
Yeah.
when you got here, I was like, sis, I got my plan. You're like, what? And I was like,
I'm
right.
calling this senator's office. I'm going to call this senator's office. I'm going to ask them what lessons did they learn when they did this. And
I'm going to petition the government. I'm going to do, it's true, right? So this is, and I was like, just amongst all the other things. So as much as like, will I potentially prosecute my ex? He has already been prosecuted with the VRO, which was really important. And the cops pushed this so hard for me. We will do an episode on this because like the different, bigger than my story, like kind of the processes of what I went through, because I get so many questions as well, women coming to me in my inbox saying, what did that process look like? Because I'm in that and I want to get out of that, but I'm so terrified and I don't know where to start. I'm like, you get your bestie and you go to the cops.
but because also I had reached out when all of this was happening, because there was a good few months there where I was still very involved in your life and I had no idea what was going on. You told me when your lip got split, you told me you got hit by a basketball or something. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure, you probably were out playing basketball one day. Like, I'm not with you every minute of the day.
She was not playing basketball.
And then when it happened, I was like, oh, we're doing this and we're doing it now. And unfortunately, I had another one of my best friends have gone through this before and have had to flee the other side of the country. And so I rang her, and because she had someone that helped guide her on what to do. And so she was the one that told us to go down that path, which was phenomenal because it wasn't Anna Rose versus the ex. It was Anna Rose. It was Queensland Police versus the ex, which is the best position that we were told to be in. And
it ended up being the best ever. So we'll do a whole episode
we'll
on
go
that.
back there.
But no, so it is a fight for me. And I think the fight now is the fight now for me amongst all of this, and I'm still in my decision-making process, is I want to petition the government, and I have to do it very like smartly, which is like reopen inquiry, I think, into, because like I could go before a judge. This is my piss off. I could go before a judge and it could go to trial, but that judge and police officer and everyone involved could be a violent sex offender or be a man that is angry and violent towards women. And so be like, in his head, in the back of his head, be like, so what? This happens every day. Like, until you've been in court and you've dealt with judges and police officers, you cannot imagine the level of insanity that ensues. And so there is currently a list of 28 high-profile judges, police officers, and even an ex-prime minister in a suppressed list. They're pedophiles, ultimately. They're they're men that have committed violence towards women. I want those men publicly outed and drained from the court systems and the police systems. Then let's see what I do. So that's my fight. Anyway, next.
Look, I've got another really deep question here.
Okay, let's go.
And I just think while we're in this conversation, let's just
go
there. And then we can maybe start to come into some
fun
some lighthearted stuff. Do you ever blame your parents for your sexual abuse as a child?
You really picked the spicy ones. We love you. Absolutely not. No one's ever actually asked me this question. Absolutely not. And I can unequivocally say with every cell in my being, even as a child, no, I never. And I can talk about it again. We'll have to put a trigger warning at the front of this. I feel like I just come with the trigger warning.
Don't come to anything goes if you ain't ready for it.
Yeah. But when I was younger as well, what happens in my experience anyway, and I have spoken to many women who have also experienced sexual violence towards them, is that you carry the shame. Like, and why we don't really speak about it is because we carry so much shame. So my journey and experience with being a child that had been assaulted for 10 years, ultimately, I never spoke up. So I blame myself. I didn't blame my parents. Now, I actually thought I've done a whole episode on this. And so if you've listened to that, you know my story. But at one point I was like convinced that this was just normal. This is just how it goes. I am always unsafe. My parents would have to know. My dad was like not in my life. It was my evil stepfather. and my beautiful mum. But yeah, I just was like, they must know. So I just, at one point as well, and I still never blamed them. I was never like, this is their fault. I was like, what fucked me up for like until my adulthood, until I healed it, was like, why didn't I say anything? Right. And I held so much shame around that. And so
Because you're a child with an underdeveloped brain.
correct. Yeah, we'll put that there. Yeah, but also you're threatened.
Yeah,
You're
petrified.
coerced. Yeah, it becomes normal. He'd groomed me since I was a newborn, so groomed my mum, and then got access to me. So no, I didn't. That's such a beautifully heartbreaking question to ask. And for me to heal all of that, so go back and listen to the podcast I've done on that. But if that question was asked because, or if you are yourself someone that does still hold anger or resentment towards someone else, it is honestly that whole quote of like, it's like drinking poison still and expecting the other person to die. So for me, with all of, yeah, that's how I envision it as well. So it's like you're drinking the poison. So it's poisoning your insides, your soul, your mind, your body, but doing it because you're angry at them and it's like they've hurt you, parent, abuser, whatever, and expecting them to die. So I just went to the side of the wound, which was my wounds, and healed it all. So I don't hold resentment even now, or anger, or hurt. Good question.
That's a beautiful question. Beautifully answered as well.
Thanks, sis.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
What is your minimum limit sexually with your partner?
What can I
Once a fortnight or once a month?
can I pin something here though and go, only a bestie could put those two questions together. And I want to say though, this is the power of being healed. No, but this is it's so powerful. It is so fucking powerful because to speak to that, what was it?
What is your minimum limit sexually with your partner?
First of all, there are no KPIs on sex life and there is no minimum.
Really?
Well, if I'm not fucked, what's on that? But what do we say? If you're not horny, you're not healthy.
Yeah.
Like if you ain't horny, you're not healthy. So, and this will activate a lot of women. And I love you're here because actually like you're a mum because I get like all the mum hate. Like you don't understand. Now, if you have just pushed a beautiful baby out of your vagina, you know, I'm not talking to you, obviously. But this is for the woman that is hungry, that is like in a loving relationship or single, whatever else. I don't KPI it, but I am very sexually active. Like there's no minimum. But when Ryan is home, it's like 2 to 4 times a day. So yeah, I think I would.
Well, when I came over last week.
Okay. What are you about to say?
Well, I walked in the door and your bedroom door was closed. So I was like, I'm going to take a seat. I don't know what's going on behind that door, but fuck, I'm here. So,
Well, yes, okay, yeah.
how'd you go, guys?
No, I walked out and I was like, oh, you're here. Okay, but also, can I just say, it's because we have an open door policy. So all the besties know how to come in where the key is. So it's like, we let yourselves in. No, but but
we all enter at our own
risk.
Yeah, we know what we could possibly be walking into.
Yes. But we will have so many of these conversations. I actually really want to launch like ask the besties couch combo like once a week.
Yeah.
Where people can ask these questions. But it's serious. Like I've created a whole 2 extra weeks in self-love school. The first week is Heal Like You Love Yourself, which is all around healing the wound. What? What? Oh my God, what? What?
I just remembered something from that day when I came and sat on the couch and you literally walked out. I don't know if I can say it on the podcast.
I can go on, say it. Oh God. You were giving people the bestie experience. Oh God.
You're like, Steph, I need a priest. I was like, why?
No, I think I said I needed an ice pack and the priest.
So look,
What do you need me to do? I was like, I need a priest and an ice pack. Yes, okay. So
sorry.
well,
Because I'm just like, how do I reword that question? It was like, the question's like, what's the minimum? And I'm like, mate, these two are out of fucking control.
yeah,
Animals.
I'm the best person to ask, but the worst person to ask. But I will say, like, I literally, so to go back to that,
Sorry.
I created Heal Like You Love Yourself and then Fuck Like You Love Yourself.
Yeah.
And I did that because a woman's power is her yoni. And like I literally go into the depths of this in self-love school. So even though it's like, what is the minimum of sex per week? And it's like, oh, if you're not horny, you're not healthy. There's so many yet again layers to that. But it's like your greatest gift as a woman is to receive. Like we are the feminine's job on earth is to receive. And that includes pleasure. So I absolutely take that role very seriously. And I receive a lot of pleasure daily in all forms. And also, I've talked to Ryan because we are very active and sexually. And I have said, like, obviously, when we have a baby, like, we're already having these important conversations now. And I've said, how are we going to survive? No, I've just said, when the time comes that we have the newborn and it's going to change the dynamic sexually in the beginning, like, let's be real, it does not absolutely ever have to change it once you are well again and feeling nourished and healed and all the things. But I've said, rest assured, I will absolutely be asking and open to receiving like touch and massage and being held and being loved and being looked after by the masculine, including, like I've said, like body work and a back rub or my legs rubbed or whatever else. So he can feel.
Yeah, so much of the foreplay for a woman is what happens over the whole course of the day.
Yeah.
Before it actually becomes the moment of being intimate. And when all of those needs aren't being met, like.
And that's like, this is a whole other episode because it's talking about that, like, that's when we talk about the masculine and the feminine and how the feminine is so in her masculine and she is frustrated and exhausted and over it and turned off because she's in the masculine. She's having to protect, to lead, to provide.
Yeah.
So she's walking in the door and hubbies or boyfriends coming over to, rub her back looking for some doing the good, what is it? Bad thing on the good foot, whatever. And she's like, get the fuck off me.
Yeah.
Which I totally understand. But then that's where we can have this whole conversation around what healing that looks like and the power of intimacy and the importance of intimacy and then getting polarity back into the relationship and allowing the king to become the king and lead the home so he can give more and you can receive more.
Yeah.
So yes, there is absolutely no minimum. There are days I do need the priest. You savage.
Sorry. Do we cut that out?
Absolutely not. Anything goes.
The worst thing was it's just like you started talking about something
really deep as well, like heal like you love yourself. Welcome to my life.
Look, it was the truth. Okay. Let's go this way. Please talk about being brave. Walking away even though it's terrifying. Powerful. Love that question.
Obviously, I think this is centered around like walking away from a relationship, even though I was terrified, I think. But I love the question because I think bravery and courage is the center and the nucleus of my life. And I think that it's like, for me, being brave is all of those like almost cliche quotes, like speak even when your voice shakes, like show up even when it's really hard, run when you want to freeze. And I think being brave is honestly doing it over and like making small decisions over and over and over again, even when it feels terrifying. And through that process, you just genuinely become braver. And so for me, like bravery is so different as well. Like bravery for me, when I I ran away ultimately, and I got away from the narcissistic relationship, which I had kept going back to when I was wounded. Bravery in that sense was just telling the truth, was actually just finally telling the truth and telling the truth to you and all of the besties in the inner circles. Like I remember you coming over and telling you the truth. I remember driving to Lozzie's house and sitting in the kitchen with Shani and Lozzie, my other besties, and like saying like, I'm finally ready to tell you the whole truth. Like that was brave. And so maybe bravery, it doesn't have to be, what I'm saying is like big and like raw, I am fucking a warrior, hear me roar, and taking on the nation or like fighting the government or whatever else. It can honestly just be like maybe for the first time in your entire life telling the fucking truth.
Yeah.
And that is terrifying, but it is the most liberating thing that you can ever do. And the only way through courage and bravery is through it.
Yeah.
And the only way through like freezing and fear is through it. And I always say that, like people go, you're so brave with not caring about what other people think. And how do you do that? And I'm like, literally having people talk shit about me all the time and not letting it break me. So it's just going through it over and over again. So I think like bravery for me is so multifaceted. Of course, I feel like that's the theme of like the answers, but often it can just be like the next best thing for your life, the next bravest thing for your life. And often, honestly, it's just telling the truth.
Yeah.
Like it's brave to say, I don't know, or it's brave to say, he hit me. And actually, a woman was disclosing to me the other day, and in conversation, she couldn't say it. And I remember being that woman only like, what was it? It's like 18 months ago now. September 2022. January is when we walked into the police station. But yeah, so say then, January 2023.
Yeah.
So like
yeah.
18 months ago.
Yeah.
But I remember like the courage it took for me to tell the truth, and the courage it was like for me to be like, this isn't it, and to get away. And the courage it will take when I call the senators and like do this petition. It's just like speaking honestly, mostly, even when your voice shakes, and just doing the next brave thing in your life.
Yeah.
But this woman, so when she was disclosing to me, she was trying to tell me, but she couldn't say it. And I took her hands and I'm like, you've never admitted this before, have you? And she was like, never. And I said, you have to say it. You have to say what he did. Say what he did. And she said it, you know, and was shaking and was really upset. And I was like, I was there only, 18 months ago, but we have to give it a voice. And I think honestly, really, as I've like coached myself through this answer, bravery is using your voice, telling the truth. It's saying no, it's setting a boundary.
Yeah.
It's saying fuck you. It's saying fuck yes. It's like walking away. And to do that, the only way through it is through it. And I have just done that over and over and over and over again, and chosen truth and love every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
And I think the reason why everything is kind of this multifaceted answer is because it all really comes down to like you have to be doing the work on yourself consistently. And to me, like listening to you coach yourself answering that question is you have to like yourself and love yourself and trust yourself and back yourself as your number one priority. When Anna and I first became friends, we had this great conversation with my husband and I, now husband.
Announcing this weekend.
And we'll be announcing when this
this will be live.
Oh, we'll have to do a podcast like on the wedding.
Yeah. Yes.
So now I've like lost track. So
when I had an amazing conversation.
Oh yeah, and like spoke about priorities. And as a mum and a new mum a couple of years ago, and I wasn't even my first priority, and my husband wasn't even my second priority. And that in itself can be such a great place to start if you feel like you're lacking bravery and you're lacking courage, is you have to start putting yourself as number one. and start making decisions based on this is what's best for me, even if you have children, even if you,
I think especially if you have children.
all of those things, like you have to be that number one, and you have to like yourself and love yourself more than what you are scared of.
Yeah.
Because
and you're not, I love that. And you're never going to, that's never going to end. Like being scared of something is it's always going to happen. But bravery is that ultimately. It's that saying that I always have. And it's like, know yourself, trust yourself, love yourself, back yourself. Bang. Like that's bravery, because you will then speak even when your voice shakes. You will say fuck off even when you want to run away scared. You will leave even if you are terrified. And ultimately that was what led me to my leaving, because I loved myself more than I loved him, and that was a trauma bond. But like, you can start to make the smarter decisions on and for your life.
Yeah.
Good question.
Beautiful question.
We kept the questions anonymous in case everyone wanted them anonymous.
Oh yeah. I don't know who asked these.
Yeah, like they're anonymous is what I'm saying. So good question.
How did you show up daily during the pandemic, given the DV behind closed doors?
So in a timeline of events, COVID, or convid as I call it, was predominantly February. I'll never forget. I was in the bath upstairs and the Tower of Victoria got locked down. That's kind of when I entered the foray of convid speaking up. So that was February 2020, and I was still married. So Morgs and I only divorced. We separated 26th of March, but March 2021. And I didn't meet my fuckhead ex, Trent, until like July of that year. And then he came over like a couple of months after that. So convid, I wasn't in DV. And you have to understand as well, with a narcissist, or with DV and coercive control in general, but specifically a narcissist, they love bomb. So he was in the love bomb season for months and months, like comfortably like 6 months. He was love bombing. But the cycle of abuse.
Explain love bombing.
So love bombing is when they make you feel like the most special and important person in the entire world, and you feel like the only person in the world, and they lavish attention, gifts, and time onto you. And it's super unhealthy. And it's like, it is a trait of a narcissist. And at the time I was very wounded. Obviously, in general, I hadn't identified the wounds that I was carrying, and also recovering from a separation and divorce from a man of 16 years. And so he swooped in and love bombed. So his love bombing was more time and attention and words. So it was just like obsessive. But you feel, and it's funny because for me at the time, I wasn't like, I love this. I was like, this is actually a lot. Because I was still like, I had intellect, some, but that's love bombing. So he was in a love bombing phase for almost pretty much until 2022. And by that stage, I'd stopped speaking about the pandemic, because I'd done my job, in my opinion. I'd saved hundreds of thousands of Australians from getting it. It was basically over. And then his behavior started to change and But he didn't, like, the violence was right at the end and as I got out. So there was no DV specifically behind closed doors at all during the pandemic. And you can't. I'm like, you could watch, but I can in my archives. I go back and I can watch myself lose myself and fall apart. Like, the soul is drained from my body. Yeah. So, but that's not until like 2022, like Feb 2022. So great question. But Morgs was actually with me for most of the pandemic. But he didn't really support what I was doing at all, which is a big kink for me. Like, as in like, kink in my, not a kink,
not a kink,
not a sex kink, oh, this is like wrong. But it was Morgs beautifully that basically had held me through the pandemic, and then the scandemic, and then Trent had come along, like slid into DMs like July, like he came into my life, physically into my life like July. So it was pretty much over is the answer to that question, but it's a good one. I didn't, as much as I was showing up.
That's nice for a timeline for people though as well.
Yeah.
That they can kind of see how that all
transpired. Yeah.
Do you want, that was my 8 questions.
Oh, should we do one more? We'll end on a.
I feel like you asked that like you were on a live then. Should we do one more?
Should we do one more? Crowd? Loose.
Do you want to pick it or do you still want me to pick it?
Nah, you can pick it.
Okay. There is a lot on network marketing. Lots of people asking questions about network marketing.
Go there. We can do one of them.
Um,
One that I can serve,
yeah,
like coach if they need it.
yeah.
To answer the question though around this, like if I answer on network marketing, I'm still involved with the same company I have been involved in for 11 years. So I've been with Isogenics for 11 years, but I just haven't touched my business in over 3.5 years now. So, but I still take even an incredible paycheck from that. That's like a full-time income for me. So that's like a daily source of income, a weekly source of income for me. So
Yeah, which is phenomenal.
that is like why I am network marketer's biggest ambassador.
Yeah.
I will forever be a proud ambassador of that profession. 100%.
Yeah. How to move past the mindset of not feeling good enough or skilled enough.
In network marketing or in general?
This says to change jobs.
Ah,
But I'm gonna like link these two questions and I just want you to kind of like coach on it because kind of similar. Riff on it.
riff on it.
Have at it, sis.
That it, sis. Go.
So that's that question. So how to move past the mindset of not feeling good enough / skilled enough to change jobs.
Mm-hmm.
How do you recover after big / small setbacks? I can stay defeated for quite a while. So I feel like that's kind of like there's a little bit of they can sort of come together.
I think the biggest thing with like mindset is it's like the gym, right? I always say like, so first of all, from a skilled perspective, and I'm really passionate about this, I never experienced inequality in the workplace because I'm like, have the confidence of a like 30, 40-year-old man with no skills that applies for a job and gets it, right? So that's the problem with like, it is the problem with women in that we put ourselves down. There's science experiments on this, how women, there was an advert in the paper and it was a job advert for like, I think it was $130,000 with the skills advertised, and it got like 3 applications. It was a female's job, like for like you can't advertise that, but ultimately it was like based towards that. Then, and this was a test, like a science experiment. They got like a 3 applications or whatever it was. This will be wrong, but like a marginal amount of applications. Then the same advert was put back into the paper for like $60,000, like an enormous amount less. And it got like 100 applications from women.
Wild.
Insane. So the way that I move through the mindset of if I'm not skilled enough or good enough is I just fucking back myself. Yeah. Like I back myself, I know myself, I love myself, and I trust myself. But I'm of the opinion that I'm like, if I don't know, I'll learn. If I'm not sure, I'll read the book, I'll Google. Like, how much have we even done together in the last week?
Yeah, but just the week alone, yeah.
Like Katy and I don't like the audacity that I have to be in the fashion industry or to have started a company, like a product company. I'd never done that before, but I just don't. So it's the mindset switch of like, I'm not good enough to like, I can do this. It's just like, of course you can do this. That's just never missing the point. So I think from the mindset perspective, it is just literally reading more books, listen to more podcasts. It's feeding your brain. Your brain is the greatest bank you will ever have in this lifetime. Like, so how are you depositing money into that every single day? And that for me is books, podcasts, quotes, wherever you can learn. I never stop learning. Like Katy got here and I'm like, I listened to the most phenomenal podcast this morning. And he's like, I said, what did I say? I was like, he's earning 8 figures with 8 staff and he did So I want to implement that into the business. She was like, done. Amazing. And it's so simple. But for me, I never think like it's never the case of thinking with my brain, I'm not good enough. Like it's not possible. It's like, it's all possible. And how can I get good enough? And it's all just neural pathways, right? So your neural pathways, it's just like you've hardwired your brain. It's like a highway of negative and doubt. And all you have to do is stay committed. And that's just the word to use. I am just committed to being better, feeling better, doing better. And it's just that switch. It's like that simple. So instead of being like, oh, but And again, you could be hearing this answer and thinking it's never going to work. And I can tell you exactly where you'll be in 5 to 10 years in the exact same spot.
Well, I know with me starting Tempt like 3 months ago that I completely started. I've said this to so many people because I've had people be like, how did you do this? And I was like, I honestly I started before I was even ready, and I didn't even I can't explain it any other way other than just action created action created action, and then there was just momentum, and I would do one thing, and then that would then create my next step, and then I would do that, and then that would create that step, or that create doing that step then created 3 more steps for me. And so then I just started doing
Yeah.
rather
That's it.
than thinking. And there's so many things I've tried to do over my years of life, and I have just spent, like, now looking at what I've done with Tempt in 3 months, like, I've spent 3 months thinking about things and not even, like,
This is what I was about to
getting anything
say.
done. And it's
Yeah.
like, if you feel like you're in that rut, or like you don't feel like you're good enough, just start doing something, and you'll be amazed at what that self-belief, you'll be like, oh, I did that, or it'll create a step. And like, even just today with this podcast, it was like, oh, this isn't working. Well, how do we make it work? And then we looked it
Google.
up and learned. So
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But it's action. So, and this is what I said to Ryan, like, so to the specific point, if you're listening, how do you get over the mindset of like not applying for skills or like changing jobs? Apply for the job. So if that's the actionable step you need, you just apply for it. You could go in and have the interview and actually be the exact fucking superstar they're looking for, because it's not always skills. Skills can be learned. We didn't know how to do this like a week ago, and we've set up the podcast, everything, right? We didn't, yeah, it's wild. And then I was saying to Ryan the other day, because he's amazingly starting his own company. I'm co-founding with him. But I said to him, we were talking about it, and I was like, baby, you can get ready to 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 fucking get ready,
Yeah.
or you can move and go.
Yeah.
And I said to him, what have you watched me do in business? What do you think entrepreneurship is? And he was like, you just make a lot of decisions every day. And I was like, that's it. No, but that was literally what I wanted him to say.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it.
Make decisions.
So make the fucking decision.
Yeah.
Right. So make the decision to
hit go.
Hit go.
Yeah.
Like, set up the booking link.
Yeah.
Like, register the company name. Like, whatever it is, it's just decision after decision after decision, but it's action.
Yeah.
And action creates motion.
Yeah.
And motion
You're
creates
moving the needle.
Yeah.
Like, it's even if it's the smallest little action, you're changing your path. Like, if you're on that fucking highway of negativity and fear and doubt and all of those things, get off.
Get off. That's it. And that's
change direction.
It's just
Stop going that way.
Yeah. And
right.
it's the committed. It's like, I am committed to changing my mindset. So say that I am. And it's like, then a new little neural pathway goes, like, you've fucked the matrix in your brain. It's true. Because you've just thought this way for so long that it goes like glitches in the matrix in your brain, and a new little neural pathway, this is science, develops and it branches off. And then you think it again and again, and it starts to grow out until it connects in. I've watched this online. It's literally YouTube. Look on the YouTube. Go and look at new neural pathways being developed, and you'll understand what we're talking about here. But it's like, and then again and again, and you think, it is possible. I can do this. I'll figure it out. I'll go. I'll take an action, and it like binds together. And bang, there's your new neural highway pathway of like positivity, power, connection.
And it's actually so simple that it's something like, you can just take any action. You can just do something today.
Yeah.
Like, if you're listening to this today,
apply for the job.
Like, whatever that is, like, fucking create the Instagram, like, go do something, take an action. Change your direction, make the pivot, trust yourself, back yourself, love yourself, know yourself, all of the things. And something that you've coached before on, I don't know where you were coaching, it might have been in the Discord maybe, but like, also asking you the question, like, are you committed or are you interested? And I remember you, like, that was like even a moment for me. And I've shared that with so many people in life, like, since I've known you and since I heard you say that on that call that day. And it's that question in itself may actually mean, like, if the thing that you're trying to do isn't setting your soul on fire, if you're not really committed to it, if you're just sort of interested in it, then also maybe have what would the word be? Like have the courage to own that and be like, maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah.
Like, and then maybe pivot, or
Yeah.
maybe but just be like, I do actually really want this, but I've only been showing up in an interested
Yeah.
capacity, and now I'm going to commit. And what does commitment look like? Commitment looks like action. So start taking action.
Yeah. And then in that, when you're like grappling with the like, am I committed or am I interested? You try on the line of like, it's just not a priority for me. And for me, I'm always like, this is how like I can unicorn a day with what I can output, because I'm like, it is always a priority for me. If I'm in it, it's a priority, right? So movement's a priority, business is a priority, love is a priority, fucking is a priority, food is a priority, like all of it's a priority. It'll fit in. And I always say when I'm a mom, my kids will be a priority. I'm going to be the main priority, but it's like kids will be a priority. So yeah, it's that whole mindset of like commitment and interest, like committed and interested don't live on the same street.
Mm.
So you might, yeah, you got to pick one and then go for it. And then ask yourself, is it a priority for me, or like, do I not have time? Because you all have time. You do. It's a priority or it's not. So we will end it there, my love, for joining me.
Thanks for having
Oh
me.
my God, I'm very excited. We will be back. I will be back. We will be back for more episodes. I'm very excited. If you're watching on the YouTube.
I die. You're not even a mum yet, and you're like, the YouTube? What's the YouTube?
YouTube. I don't even have the TikTok. But if you are watching, subscribe, because obviously we will be releasing an episode every single week, so you'll get alerted. And if you are listening, it goes the furthest way when you leave a review. So I love you all so much. I will see you on the next episode, and we'll see you then.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. Stay wild.
Stay wild.
Thanks so much for tuning in. And as always, I hope you got something out of this conversation that you can use to challenge your own status quo. If you liked what you heard, it would mean the world to me if you shared this episode on your socials to help get this podcast more out in the world. Don't forget as well to tag me personally at @thereal_Anna Rose so I can thank you personally. If you're also loving the conversations, leaving a review on iTunes by going to the podcast, scrolling down and clicking leave review will help even more amazing humans that need to find me and these conversations find me. As always, though, I am eternally grateful that you're tuning in. And until the next episode, know that I am always cheering on your sovereignty and success.